Another bomb scare in Durban, this time at a police station in Phoenix. 3 suspected bombs were found. Let's get you the latest. Our reporter Dasen Thathiah is outside the Phoenix police station. Dasen, what can you tell us about this breaking story?
Tulas, this is now the second bomb scare just today. In fact, earlier today we were at the Konubia Mall, which is not far from where we are in Phoenix at the moment. And earlier there was a sweep that was done there because there was reports of a bomb being planted at the Woolworths. But that later turned out to be a hoax. And then about an hour ago here at the Phoenix police station, let me just show you. Kaniso will pan that way. You'll see some activity at the front gate now as police vehicles are returning. I'm not clear if the police that are sweeping the inside of the station have found anything just yet. Police are not saying too much to us. You'll see that this road is closed off here to us. But how we understand it to have happened is that there was a phone call that was made to the police station saying that there were either 2 or 3 bombs. It's not clear just yet. People are giving us different stories at this point, saying that they were inside the station, and obviously then as a safety precaution, the station was evacuated. People had gathered here on the street while that search was being done. Now, security companies also responded to this call out, and there's a gentleman here with me at the moment from KZN VIP. His name's Cameron. Cameron, you were here when you got that call. Tell me what time that was and what was reported to you.
At approximately 2:30, we received numerous calls regarding a bomb in a local Phoenix station. Upon arrival, we noticed that the roads were blocked off by the Metro Police. Together with SAPS, K9 unit was dispatched, VIP response was dispatched, numerous security vehicles were dispatched. We did a search around the vicinity. As you can see, we're still standing by for more feedback regarding if they found any devices of that sort.
Was there any panic when you got here? What was the mood like among the people that were working inside?
It was a very intense atmosphere. As you know, there were 3 local bomb scares, 2 of which today we heard. One was in Durban City, was a hoax. One was at Amshlanga not long ago in Gateway, Woolworths Pavilion as well. So there was a lot of intensity regarding the atmosphere.
And just from what you saw in terms of the police response, who came here?
We had SEPs here, K9 members were here, Metro Police were around, we had EMRS, our members VIP was here, Sealant Security as well, not forgetting some other members of the local security communities that was here as well.
Cameron, are you hearing anything from inside? What's the latest? I hear some of the police dogs now in the background while we're speaking. Are we hearing about whether any devices were actually found?
No, currently we're also awaiting more feedback. All we do know is that the SAPS received a call from an anonymous call regarding the bomb scare here, and since then we're still waiting for more feedback.
Okay, thank you so much, Cameron. Tulas, that was one of the security guards that had responded to the scene. I'm seeing some activity now behind me. I'm not sure if that's an indication that police are now going to be leaving the scene after the search. We would still have to get confirmation from the national office, but that is proving to be quite difficult. I spoke to Vish Naidu earlier from the national office, and he didn't give me any information at all, and he told me that he knows nothing before he dropped the call and said that he was going to board a plane. But that's been the general sentiment and the general problem we've been facing in covering these stories. Even earlier as well, while we were standing on the scene and while a sweep was going on, we spoke to Brigadier Mulawutsi from the Hawks, and he also said that he didn't have any information. So as you can understand, we have to try and get our information from either witnesses or those that are on the ground in the absence of that official comment from police.
Yeah, Dasen, just something of an update there. I see that the cars are moving behind you. It seems that that road has now been reopened. Is that a good sign? And also, in terms of what you were reporting a bit earlier on about seeing cars moving towards that gate behind you, had those cars been evacuated a bit earlier on?
That's right, Tulas. I think the indication right now, and I just don't want to confirm anything until we get that official word, but I think the indication right now is good, and I'm basing this on what we saw at Konubia earlier as well, because if you look at the time that these police were in here, it was just barely an hour since the station was evacuated, and now that they're leaving and people are being allowed back into the building, surely that's an indication then that either nothing was found or it was nothing dangerous that was found. But I think the danger here is that police have to take every call quite seriously, especially considering what has been happening in Durban over the past week or so. In fact, today is exactly 1 week since the first explosive device was found in the city, and that was found at the Pavilion Shopping Centre. And then, as you know, there was also another device that was found at the Gateway Shopping Centre. I mean, in the past, Tulas, you'll know that hoax calls were normally attributed to bored children that were on holidays and would make these calls and get people and resources wasted in these situations. But at this point, nothing can be taken with a pinch of salt, because it has been proven that at least 6 devices that have been found in Durban over the past week were genuinely explosive devices that had in some cases, started fires.
Yeah, in fact, Dasen, as a final question, far be it from us to perhaps conduct an interview live on an investigation live on TV, but are you seeing any patterns in terms of where these devices are being found? We've had a few that have been at retail shopping centers and, some shops, specific shops. Woolworths, of course, being one of those that have come up from time to time. We've had, of course, going back to that incident at that mosque about 2 months ago. Is there a pattern that we can say we can follow?
I think initially, Tulas, there was, and like you mentioned, by no means are we getting into the details of this investigation that is being handled by the Hawks at the moment. But I think just observing this from the ground, we have been following these cases quite closely. If you look at how it spread, initially Woolworths did seem to be central to these attacks in that it happened to be at their stores. In the case of Gladys Mazibuko Road, which we saw on Saturday, it was a vehicle that was parked outside a Woolworths store there. But then we saw an incident taking place in Wentworth at a spa, and that was confirmed to be a suspicious device that was found there. Police detonated that shortly afterwards. But if you had to almost plot this on a map, it spreads across Durban. It's north, it's south, it's central. Right now we're standing in the north. But I think also what's important to note here, Tulas, is that Becky Cele, the police minister, said during an interview with us earlier this week that although he confirmed that there could be a link between all of these incidents, he said something else that almost contradicted that by saying that he suspects that it could almost be copycat behavior. He said that there could be people out there that are riding on this wave. And if you look at it, that is quite possible, because right now, if you see how it's moved away from just being almost targeted towards a certain retail store and spreading just to other areas, especially these calls, it makes one wonder if there's no truth to what he'd been saying. He also told us during that interview that footage was being reviewed in 3 of those incidents, and he was hoping that there would then be some kind of breakthrough as a result of that footage. But I think the immediate problem now is how police deal with these calls. We don't know whether this one was a hoax or not just yet, but it's a matter now of how are police going to deal with this. We were at the Pavilion Shopping Centre a few days ago where there was a hoax call. It was actually a security tag that was found. We were at the Conuvia Shopping Centre earlier today, which was also proven to be a hoax, and now we're standing outside the Phoenix police station waiting to find out if this is actually a hoax.